We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 39a. Rabbah had just said that there's no hachana problem if you're preparing from Yontif to Shabbos or from Shabbos to Yontif if you're only doing, but you're not actually saying anything. You're doing some kind of action, but you're not saying anything. It's not a problem of hachana. And the Gemara here is in the middle of asking on Rabbah from a brisa. Again, the brisa continues here. Lo yetayil adam al Pesach Medina. A person should not take a stroll at the entryway to a certain province, to a city, kadesha yichanes lemerchatz miyad, in order to use the bathhouse immediately after Shabbos. Rashi here explains, Lo yetayil adam b'Shabbos o b'Yontif. A person shouldn't take a stroll on Shabbos or Yontif samach lechashecha when it gets near to dark, when it gets near to the end of Shabbos or Yontif, at Pesach Medina, by the entrance of the Medina, kedei leiskariv lemerchatz lios mizumin lichanes kishetech miyad. That way he can get close to the merchatz and he'll be prepared to enter immediately when Shabbos ends. He should not do that. And now the Rashi explains what the question of the Gemara is. Alma, we see from here, avagav dehiluch greda of it, even though he's just walking, velo amar midi, and he's not saying anything, aser, it's still a problem. Vegabe eruv, and by eruv also, ibidi bura have aser mishum hachana. If it's aser to say something because of hachana, according to Rabbah, b'shtikusa nami have aser. He should say it's aser also when you're being quiet. So what is the difference between these two cases? So, and the Gemara finishes the question, miyad hadarbe. The way that they phrased the question on Rabbah was, had he heard this brisa, he certainly would have retracted his position. And the Gemara says, veloi, that's not true. Shama le velo hadarbe. He heard this brisa and he did not retract his position, because the difference is hasa mucha milsa, hachalav mucha milsa. Over there, it's clear that you're doing hachana. Over here, it's not clear you're doing hachana. Why? Itzur b'mei rabbanim, because if he's a Talmud Chacham, Itzur b'mei rabbanim, who if he's a Talmud Chacham, Amrinan Shmaita Mishchase, will say that he got caught up in his learning. That's why he's taking this walk. Via Ma'aretz hu Amrinan Chamra Irchaslei. Or if he's an Ma'aretz, will say that he lost his donkey, and that's why he was walking to this area, but it has nothing to do with hachana. It's not mucha milsa, whereas in a case where it's mukach, that's where it's more problematic. Rashi explains, mucha milsa, my boy b'sadeu. In the case where he's walking to the edge of his field, so there, what is he doing by his field? Why is he walking to his field? He must be trying to figure out what it needs. It's clear that he's doing achana. The Torah says he can't be dealing with business matters on Shabbos. The same thing when a person is walking to the entrance of a Medina, that's already an area where it's clear you're doing work. Aval, or preparing to do work. Aval chutz le'ir. But when a person is outside the city, ad atchum, a person just walking until the tchum of the city, lo muchamil, so that's not clear. Delay ruve litzorech macher kazel, that he's walking to that area for the purpose of his eruv for tomorrow. Velomaski and shiadatayu, no one's going to think that's what he's doing. Ali yitzor me'rabbanan hu amrinan shmaita mishchase shemahar above ein daito olav. If he's a Talmud Chacham, people will say he was learning in a sugya, he's thinking about it, he didn't really care where he was walking. Chamra irchaslei, or if he was an Amoritz, he lost his donkey, vazal liyune, he's going to look for it. Tafila b'Shabbos mutter la shiva mitoch atchum lebeso. Even on Shabbos, it's mutter to return a donkey from within the tchum to a person's house. Aval midi de azr leila mevad b'Shabbos, but if it's something that's azr to do on Shabbos, azr leila zemune nafshe lahu midi, it's azr to prepare for that thing. So if you're just walking within the tchum, and really you're doing it for Erev Tchumen purposes, it's not going to be clear that's what you're doing. Therefore, it's not a problem of hachana. But in a situation, only if you say something. That's why Rabbah said it's only if you actually make a statement. But in these situations over here, where you're taking a stroll, but specifically to areas like your field, to areas at the entrance of the Medina, near the Merchatz, that's already going to be mukach, and it's going to be a problem. Gufa, the Gemara returns to what it was talking about before. Amar Rav Yehuda had said, Erev beraglav b'yom rishon, a person made an Erev with his feet, meaning with his body on the first day. Ma'arev beraglav b'sheni, he can do it again the second day. He should do it again if he wants to make an Erev for the second day. Erev v'pas b'yom rishon, let's say he made an Erev with bread on the first day, and Rashi says the food got eaten, so Ma'arev v'pas b'yom sheni, rather in that case, the food did not get eaten. He has to do the bread again for the second day. Erev v'pas b'rishon. If he made an Erev the first day with bread and it got eaten, that's where Rashi says it got eaten. Ma'arev b'raglav b'sheni, then he should do it with his body the second day. Erev b'raglav b'rishon. If he did it with his feet the first day, ein ma'arev b'pas b'sheni. Here, Rav Yehuda says you cannot use bread on the second day. She'ein ma'arvin b'tchila b'pas. You're not allowed to an yontiv make an Erev lechatchila with pas. In other words, if you made it the first day with pas, then you could use that same pas for the second day, as we said. That's already not a problem of achana. But if you did not use pas beforehand, and you didn't set it up, let's say you had Yontiv on Friday and Shabbos came right after, if you didn't set up the bread already from Thursday night, L'chatchila on Friday, which is Yontif, you cannot set up an Erev Tchumen. That's already Hachana. As we mentioned, that's a larger form of Hachana that even Rabbah would say is going to be a problem of Hachana. It's not a problem of Hachana if you've set it all up on Thursday, because then we say Tchilas Hayom Kona Erev. The Erev takes effect on Shabbos itself. It's not Hachana taking effect. But to set it up in the first place on Friday, as we mentioned, is going to be Hachana. And Irei Bepas B'Yom Rishon, Ma'arev Bepas B'Yom Sheni. Now, going back to what he said if you used bread on the first day, then you can do it with bread again on the second day. Amar Shmuel clarifies the statement, Uva Osa Hapas. You have to use the same bread. You can't use different bread. Let's take a look at Rashi over here. Again, Irev v'pas barishon v'nechal eruvo. If his erev gets eaten, ma'arev b'ragla b'sheni. He should use his feet the second day. She'ein ma'arvin b'tchila b'pas miyontiv l'Shabbos. As we said, you're not allowed to, in the first place, create an erev an yontiv for Shabbos. Mishum hachana. That's already called hachana. To karei lehashta shem erev. That's because now he's making the shem erev. He's saying this is an erev now on yontiv. That's already going to be hachana. So, and that's why Shmuel says, Uva osa pas, you use the same bread. Amar Rav Ashi says, Dekonami, I'll bring you a proof that this is the case. Rashi explains, Dekonami deva osa pas, the kara Hashem me'esmol. I'll bring you a proof that you have to use the same bread that you've already done a kriyas shem from yesterday. You've already said this is for an erev. V'hashta kashasik. That way now you can be quiet. Avalo bepas acheres. You cannot use a new piece of bread. Devoy limikri shem erev hashta, because then you would need to call the shem erev now. You would need to create the erev right now and say this is for an erev. That's going to be the problem of halacha. And I'll bring you a proof, he says from the Mishnah. In other words, to what Shmuel said, that you have to use the same bread, I'll bring you a proof from our Mishnah. Dekanami masnisin dekatani. There's a proof from our Mishnah which says, Ketzad uosa. What should he do? Molicho berishon amach shecholov v'notlo uvalo b'sheni mach shecholov v'ochlo uvalo. It seems to be saying that he takes the same bread that he put berishon and he takes it to protect it for the second day, and he uses that same bread for the second day. That seems to be a proof you need the second day. The Gemara says, the Rabbanan, and what are the Rabbanan who argue with this? What do they say? Dil mahasam ain't tova kamashmalan. Maybe there was just good advice, but it's not required. It's not really a problem of achana. Rashi here says, who are the Rabbanan? V'Rabbanan Abaye v'Rabba bar Chanan to kametami la'el hachana derabba. This refers to Abaye and Rabba bar Chanan. They were the ones asking all the questions on Rabba. Rabba had said that setting up an erev could potentially be a problem of hachana from Yontif to Shabbos. Not in all scenarios again, but Rabba was answering all their questions. But Rabba had said there's a potential problem of hachana, and they were asking all these questions. They never brought a proof to him from this Mishnah. This Mishnah seems to be a good proof that there's at least a potential problem of hachana, because the Mishnah implies you can't use a new piece of bread. You see it's hachana. So why didn't they bring a proof to him from this Mishnah? The answer is they'll say to you that maybe the Mishnah is just good advice. Why should he lose his bread? Why should he get a new piece of bread? And if he wanted to, he really could do it with a new piece of bread. And when it says in the Mishnah that it's not a good erev for the second day, that means to say that when you set up the erev on the first day, it doesn't automatically go for the second day. You have to make an erev again for the second day, as we said, because it's two kedushas. But not necessarily that there's a problem of hachana. That could be a way to read the Mishnah. That's why they were questioning this idea of hachana. The Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Now, the previous Mishnah had talked about whether when you have a yontiv next to Shabbos, whether it's kedusha achas, whether it's two kedushas. Now we bring this discussion to Rosh Hashanah. So Rabbi Yehuda says, Rosh Hashanah shaya yare shema tesaber. Let's say Rosh Hashanah, we're not sure, we're afraid maybe it's going to be a leap month, and so maybe the second day is going to be Rosh Hashanah. We don't know when Rosh Hashanah is. Ma'ariv adam shnei eruvin. So a person can make two eruvs. V'yomer, he says as follows: Eruvi barishon lemizrach. On the first day I'm going to go east. Uvesheni lemayrev. Second day I'm going to go west. Barishon lemayrev. First day I'm going to go west. Uvesheni lemizrach. Second day to the east. Eruvi barishon uvesheni kivnei iri. First day I'll make an eruv. Second day I won't make an eruv. I'll be like the people of my city. Eruvi b'sheni. The second day I'll make the eruv tchum. Uverishon kivnei iri. The first day I'll be like the people of my city. He can do all these things. V'lo hodu lo chachamim. The chachamim did not agree, because they hold that the 2 days Rosh Hashanah are considered one kedusha. So you cannot say it's two separate kedushas. I'll go in different directions, different days. I'll do different things, different days. It's all one kedusha, one long yontif. Similarly, Ve'odam Rabbi Yehuda says, Masna Adam ala kalkala b'yontiv rishon ve'ochla b'sheni. A person can make a tanai on, he has a basket of food on yontiv rishon, and he can eat it on the second day. This has to do with the separation of truma. We'll see Rashi. V'chein beitza shenolda b'rishon tochel b'sheni. Similarly, if an egg is laid on the first day, it can be eaten on the second day. Both of these halachas also are with the understanding that the 2 days are separate kedushas. And again, v'lohodu lo chachamim. The chachamim did not agree with Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanis Omer, Rabbi Dosa ben Horkanis says, "Ha'over lifnei hateva b'yom tov shel Rosh Hashanah." Somebody who is the chazan, who is the shliach tzibur on Rosh Hashanah, Omer, he should say as follows: "Hachalitzenu Hashem Elokeinu es yom Rosh Hachodesh hazeh im hayom im lamachar." This is the day of Rosh Chodesh. Maybe it's today, or maybe it's tomorrow. And then the next day when he davens, he says, Im hayom im emesh. If today is Rosh Chodesh, or maybe yesterday was Rosh Chodesh. Again, the Chacham did not agree that this is how you phrase it, that today might be or tomorrow might be. Again, it's the idea being it's like a kedusha achas. Rashi will explain that as well more in detail. Shema tisaber begola kamairi. So again, we're talking about in the exile. We don't know whether it's going to be 2 days or not. Shema yasu bezan hagadol elul meuber. Maybe they're going to say that Elul is a leap month, has an extra day. V'yu shnei yomim tov. You're going to have 2 days yontiv. V'utzarech leilech barishon l'tzad echad uv'shein l'tzad acher. He needs to go in one direction first day, another direction the second day. Ma'arif shnei Eruvin amanichem berev yontiv zalakan v'zalakan v'yomer kedol. He can do the same thing. It's 2 separate kedushas. V'lohodu lo chachamim dekasavri kedusha achasein. The chachamim hold it's 1 kedusha. Similarly, mas na'adam ala kalkola shel tevel. The case here is you have a basket of tevel b'yom tov rishon shel Rosh Hashanah. On the first day of Yom Tov of Rosh Hashanah of Yomer, he says as follows: Im hayom chol teizu truma leilu. If today's a weekday, I'm separating truma. V'im hayom kodesh in b'dvari klum. But if today is the holy day, if today is Rosh Hashanah, I am not separating truma. De'in magbi and truma b'yontiv. You're not allowed to separate truma and yontiv to shvos d'rabbanan. That's a shvos midrabbanan. But Meseches Beitza, that's said in Meseches Beitza. Ulamachar, the next day he says the same thing. Omer, he says, Im esmol kodesh v'yom chol. If yesterday was kodesh and today is the weekday, teizu shamarti esmol truma aleilu. Today I'm going to separate the truma. V'im hayom kodesh v'esmol chol kavari truma. And if today is holy and yesterday was chol, then I already separated the truma. Me'esmol yesterday v'yochel kalkala ha'mesukenes u'meshayir ha'truma. He eats whatever was fixed. He leaves over the truma. V'lohodu lo chacham desavri to tarvayu kedusha achasi vein magbian ben truma. Chacham holds 1 kedusha. You can't separate truma. Hachalitzenu means zarzenu. You should make us be mezares us, encourage us. V'hachalitzenu kamo nechlatz chushim. So again, hachalitzenu, give us strength basically on this day of Rosh Chodesh. And he makes the important part as he says, im hayom im machar. Im hayom hu hachalitzenu hayom. Im machar machar. If today's Rosh Chodesh, hachalitzenu today. If tomorrow, tomorrow. The Chacham said you can't say that. The Gemara mefarish I atana koi the kasavri lav safiku el yom rishon hu rosh chodesh. What are they saying over here? Are they saying that it's a problem in terms of the Tanai because they hold it's not a suffix, but rather the first day really is Rosh Chodesh? Is that their main argument with phrasing this in the Tefillah in this fashion? O azikaron koi the kasavri de'in mazkirin shel Rosh Chodesh Rosh Hashanah. Or it could be they're actually not arguing on the issue of the Tanai. It's not that they're arguing that it's not a suffix, but what they're actually arguing is in terms of the terminology. They're arguing that it shouldn't be termed Rosh Chodesh on Rosh Hashanah. You shouldn't call it Rosh Chodesh. And again, this term hachalitzenu, Rashi is saying it's similar to the term necholetz chushim that was talking about Reuven, Gad, and Chatzi Menashe, that they were going to fight the wars with the rest of the Shvatim on the other side of the yard, and that's the same term as hachalitzenu. The Gemara here says man lo hodu lo. So who is this Tana who does not admit, and this Tana who holds that Rosh Hashanah is all Kedusha Achas, it's all one long Kedusha? Amar Rav says Rabbi Yossi. It's actually the Tana Rabbi Yossi. He says it's one long Kedusha. The Tanya we learned in a Bryce as follows. Modim Chachamim Rebbe Lazar. First of all, the Chachamim admit to Rebbe Lazar, but Rosh Hashanah, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, Rebbe Lazar was the one in the previous Mishnah who said that if you have Yontiv next to Shabbos, it's 2 separate Kedushas, and the Chachamim admit to Rebbe Lazar in Rosh Hashanah, that a person is afraid maybe it's going to be a leap month, and maybe it's going to be the second day is really going to be Rosh Hashanah. Ma'ariv Adam Shnei Eruvin. That in such a situation, a person can make 2 Eruvs. V'yomer, he says, Eruvi Barishon Lemizrach Uv'Sheni Lemayriv, Barishon Lemayriv Uv'Sheni Lemizrach, Eruvi Barishon Uv'Sheni Kivnei Iri, Eruvi V'Sheni Uv'Rishon Kivnei Iri. He can make all these different conditions and say on the first day I'm going in one direction, the second day a different direction. Rabbi Yossi Oser, but Rabbi Yossi says it's a problem to do that in Rosh Hashanah. Amar Lehen Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Yossi says to them the following argument: Iatem modim, do you not admit Shimbo Edim min Amincha Ulamala? That let's say Edom come and they see the new moon on the first day, but they don't get there until after Mincha, meaning until after the Tamid Shel Bein Harabayim was brought. That's when they come to Yerushalayim and they say, we saw a new moon. Today actually was not a weekday. Today actually was Rosh Hashanah. Don't you admit in that case, Shanoagin Osa Yom Kodesh Ulamachar Kodesh, that in such a situation, it actually would not be a suffix. You would say that both the first and the second day in such a scenario would be considered holy. Therefore, we should consider it Kedusha Achas. Rashi here explains, Modim Chachamim, afal pi depligi oled Rebbe Lazar b'Shabbos v'Yontiv. Even though the Chachamim disagree with Rebbe Lazar when it comes to Shabbos and Yontiv, and they say that it's going to be one long kedusha by Shabbos and Yontiv, here, the Chachamim admit that it's two separate kedushas. One of them really is a weekday. It's just a doubt. We don't know, was the first day really a weekday? Or maybe no. It was the 30th day of the month, which actually was Rosh Hashanah, and that was a holy day. And the second day is weekday. That's why we're making 2 days Rosh Hashanah. In other words, when you have Yontiv right next to Shabbos, there is no doubt that the first day is Yontiv and the second day is Shabbos. Both days are certainly Kadosh. The issue is, does that Kedusha merge together and it's one Kedusha, or do we say it's two separate Kedushas? But the Chachamim say that when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, there's no reason to say that the two Kedushas should merge together, because in reality, one of these days is a weekday, one of these days is a Yontiv, we just don't know which is which. So therefore, the Chachamim admit that it's going to be two separate Kedushas. However, for Rabbi Yossi Oser, Rabbi Yossi disagrees and says it's one Kedusha, because he holds it's not really a doubt over here. The Shema Bo Eidim B'Yom Lamed Safek B'Yom Lamed Aleph L'Chudei Iskin. It's not just that we don't know our Eidim going to come on the 30th day or the 31st day of Elul, which day is Rosh Hashanah. El Af Mishum Shema Bo Eidim Min Aminchu L'Mala Iskin. There's another concern, and that is the possibility that the Eidim are actually going to come after Mincha on the first day. The Tarvayu Kaddish. In such a scenario, both days are holy. To Amar Rabbanan Shal Yimitzapen B'Yom Lamed Shel Elul. What would happen was the Bezdin would wait on the 30th day of Elul. Shema Yavo Eidim Shnir Salavanabo. Maybe Eidim will come and the moon was seen. The Yikachu Bezdin is a Chodesh, and the Bezdin will say it's really Rosh Chodesh. Today is really the first of Tishrei. Hayom, that's today. V'noagin Osayom Kodesh, and they say that today we're going to conduct ourselves like it's a holy day. Shema Yontifu, maybe it's a Yontif. Betanya, and we learned in a Bryce as follows. Talmud shel Rosh Hashanah, Shachar is Karav Kilchaso. What would happen is the Talmud of Rosh Hashanah in the morning would be brought regular. Talmud shel Chol, V'shir shel Chol, HaMesukin L'yom, Ba'ashir shel Halavim, Omrim B'mikdash B'yom Rishon, etc. They would bring the Talmud on that morning, they would bring it as if it was Chol. They would say the Shir shel Yom of Chol, as if it was a weekday. Talmud shel Ben Arabayim, Omer Shir Acher, and then in the Talmud shel Ben Arabayim they said a different shir, a different song, Hasirosi Misev El Shechmo. That's what they said. Kidamrinim and Perak Basra shel Rosh Hashanah. V'imbo Eidim Acher Talmud shel Ben Arabayim. Now, the case was as follows. Let's say Eidim would come on the first day after that carbon Talmud was brought. Shekvar Karev B'Shir Shel Chol. They already brought the carbon Talmud with the shir of weekdays. Tiknu Sheyu Mekachin HaChodesh Machar. At that point, they would say tomorrow is going to be Yontiv. Even though the Eidim came today, so really they were telling us the first day was Yontiv, they came so late that we will now say tomorrow is Yontiv. Umiyom HaMachras Monin Kviyaso, Kidei Lomar Shir Haroy Yontiv. And we would count it from tomorrow, we'll say the shir of Yontiv tomorrow. Umikol Mokum, and nevertheless, Gemar Yom Shloshim Noagin Kodesh Kitchilaso. They would still finish the 30th day as if it were holy originally. Shekach Tiknu Shiu Nohagin Osa Yom Kodesh. That was the takana, that they would say that day is Kodesh. Va'afilu Gemara Shel Yom. Even the finishing of that day. V'afal Pisha Yodin Sheyidchal Yom HaMachras. Even though they know that they're really pushing off Rosh Hashanah to the next day, Ula Machar Kodesh, and they're making tomorrow holy. Meaning, even though the Eidim came at a point in time where we know 100% we're making tomorrow holy, they would actually finish off the first day and treat it as if it were Yontiv. And those who are far from Bezin in such a scenario are having 2 days Yontiv. It's not that there's a doubt. Is today holy? Is tomorrow holy? That's not why they do it. The real issue is maybe Eidim will come after the carbon Talmud Shel Ben Arabayim is already brought. And the Bezin will say both days are holy. That's why they're making 2 days. Alma Shnei and Kodesh. So you see, there is a scenario where they're both actually Kodesh. It's a modem kedavrishes. Don't you admit that that's the case? Alma anonder chakinan mi bezin mesafkol and dilma hachiavi. You see, there's a doubt that that could possibly be the case. Utravayo Kodesh. Maybe they both really are Kodesh. That's Rabbi Yossi's argument, and we'll continue this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Tes Amud Beis.